Be good. Be very good.
I don't know if I can fulfill that, but I am going to definitely try to be good. Although she knew that it was very difficult for me to be good. I always had questions, and that's why this is perfect for me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Yaya Diamond, and I am the host of Dream Chasers Radio, and I have an amazing guest on the show today. She is an author, and I've always wanted to know, like, the one question that I always ask authors is, did they know they were going to be an author? Like, did they like aspire to be an author? We're going to find that out today from surviving trauma. I kind of understand trauma. This may not be the same trauma, but I do understand trauma because I went through a lot of it. And I think a lot of people here can testify to certain kinds of trauma. Thank you, Janice Gomes, for being on the show. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you. So let's go back. That one question I already asked, and my curiosity has killed the cat, per se. I wanted to know if did you ever aspire to be an author, or was this just something that happened because of circumstances?
I never aspired to be an author. No. I started out as a crisis intervention counselor, and just talking to the people and listening to their stories, I learned a couple of things. One, I learned you have all the answers you need. You go to a counselor and they ask you questions and you answer the questions. You know the answers. So why are so many people in trauma, and what causes this? And that's what I really wanted to know. Are you living in the past? Are you a victim or are you a victimizer? So I'd write down notes and they would become stories. And then my computer would go out and I'd get a new computer and the stories would stay on the last computer. So I really wasn't anticipating being an author. No.
Mm. Okay, so what message do you want most readers to take from this? Because you did it for a reason. Was it for you or was it for anyone?
When I started, I learned a lot about myself from talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask questions that I would want the answer for myself. And the one person that inspired me so much was one of the first girls I ever talked to. She's 14 years old. She was sent to juvenile hall. And my question was, what are you going to do from here? Why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out she had a 74-year-old father that was a Supreme Court judge.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a 36-year-old mother. And the father was very abusive.
Mm-hmm.
He was always pushing or slapping her. And this one day when he came home, she said, "No more, I'm done." And she walked out of the house. Well, her dad called the police, had her picked up as a truant. So the title was she was a runaway. And I was to find out where she thought she was running to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sat down with her and she said, "I didn't run away. I walked out of the house." She said, "I didn't want to be pushed again. I didn't want to be shoved again. And I didn't want my mom standing there allowing it to happen."
Yeah.
So I walked out. And I said, "What do you see yourself doing about this?" And her words have always stuck with me. "I'm not going to do anything about it. It's not my problem. It's his."
Wow.
That stayed with me. Immediately I saw, wow, how many people are going through something. They're trying to change the other person, or they're trying to change themselves, but that's not going to work. You have to address the problem and deal with that.
Yeah.
And are you part of the problem? Are you part of the solution? Are you a victim or are you a victimizer? These are all the things I wanted to know. So as I interviewed people, I said, "Do you mind if I take notes that I'm going to keep?" And if they said, "No, don't do that," I didn't. But if they said it was okay, then that's what I did.
Wow. 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 How do you define trauma, and why do you believe it affects people of all ages and backgrounds?
Trauma to me, from talking to everybody, comes from an action. It could have been a birth, it could have been a death, it could have been an accident, it could have been betrayal. Everybody that goes through trauma seems to have somebody nearby that they either won't forgive or they can't stand or they hate, and they talk about it all the time to everybody that they talk to. They will say, and this happened and then that happened. And you have to ask yourself, do you really want to live in yesterday? Because that's where trauma is. When you're telling somebody about your trauma, you're reliving it every time you talk about it. You start reliving that trauma. If you can't focus on today, you won't ever get into tomorrow. You're waiting for the future, but the future's here. Today is the future. Tomorrow will take care of itself.
Yeah.
And that's what the Bible says, worry and focus today. And if we focused more on what do I want, what am I looking for, if it's that one person you need to listen to you and understand you, but they won't do it, you have to come to a place where you accept that it's not going to happen, and stop victimizing yourself continually. Maybe you had a bad relationship with your mother. You haven't talked to her for years. But being hostile and angry and telling everybody about it doesn't make you closer to your mom. You makes you victimize yourself. So that's, I think trauma is something. I have a friend that wants to know why her story isn't in the book. And it's not in the book because she has no ending. I can't write a story. It has no ending. She says, well, I have PTSD. And I said, no, PTSD has you. You've had plenty of time to get rid of the PTSD. Move forward. Help someone else. If you're unhappy, go forward and help somebody. Find out what they need. Get out of your trauma and find out what that person needs. You just might have something that can help them. Yeah. And so that's what trauma is to me. It's not in a book. Your story isn't on page 15, paragraph 3. Nobody knows what you're going through, even when you try to explain it. And sometimes what really happens, it triggers people, is they'll explain what's just happened and the person will go, oh, that's really too bad, and then move right to another subject, not realizing you may have just missed an opportunity to save someone from suicide. Yeah. Because they're reaching out and you really don't have the time or the patience, and you don't have the education. There's all kinds of things people say. I was never trained. I don't think there's a book on training how to love someone. You can love people you don't even know by just having compassion and just having some grace and saying, just something simple for me is if someone comes up and says, oh, I'm going through something right now. Instead of saying, what are you going through and what's happening? I say, can we say a quick prayer? And it's real short. God, this person's situation. Please touch them. Send them somebody that can help, or send them the knowledge that they need. Amen. And that's the end of it. So I'm not pushing religion, and I'm not telling you this is something you have to do. But before I do that, I ask permission to do that, because some people do not want that. But if you're not using prayer, how's that working for you? That's my question.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. So you use real life stories in your book. That's with permission, of course.
Yes.
Did that help the healing process for these people and I mean I'm sure that everybody in your family or even you have gone through some trauma. Has it helped you to heal as well?
It's given me more compassion for people. I think I healed from the traumas I've gone through probably in the last 2 or 3 years. 2 of the stories in my book, one is about Mark Polly Klaas, who was a murder victim. And the other one is about Philip Garrido, who kidnapped J.C. Dugard and had her in his backyard for 18 years.
Oh my God.
That's 2 people. Here's Mark Klaas, who's a victim. Here's Philip Garrido, who's a victimizer. I had known at the time of his arrest, I had known Philip for 15 years. How come I didn't know JC, who was known as Alyssa back then? How did I not know that she was in the backyard? How did I not know what was going on? After he was arrested, Philip Garrido was arrested, the FBI showed up at my house asking all of these questions. And my question back was, how did you have 60 parole officers go to that house, never go in the backyard? And he goes, they said, how do you know they never went in the backyard? And I said, well, 1, the girls were in the backyard, but 2, the car that Philip abducted JC in was right there. It was parked right. It was broke down and parked right next to the fence. It wasn't covered. It was there all that time. So, 60 people get in trouble for not doing the right thing. What's the right thing when you don't know that there's a kidnapped child that you've fathered two children with in your backyard? And the backyard looked like it ended, but it actually had a backyard behind the backyard. And that's why none of us knew that they were there. And I talked to her. I talked to JC on the phone. I never actually saw her in person. My son did. He actually sat down on the couch with her going over his printing materials, because that's what Philip did. He had a printing business, and a very good business at that. But I learned so much from poor Mark, who, Polly was his best friend. And how did he handle it? We became public speakers together for a while, and I just watched. Mark kept growing and he kept getting stronger, but his hurt didn't seem to ever diminish. He just couldn't get over losing his daughter. Here with JC, her mother always believed that JC was going to return, but everybody at work and everybody around her was telling her, give up. She's not coming back. Give up hope. The people that you want on your support team are telling you, give up and move on. Well, if it's in your heart not to give up, don't give up. And her mom didn't. She said one day she's going to call. One day she called. It was 18 years later, but one day she called.
My God.
And that's when it had been found out that she was the kidnapped victim from, 18 years before. So,
she had kids by this guy?
Yeah, she had two. And this young girl, who was 11 years old, was able to raise her children and educate them to where I'm not positive if one's graduated from college, but I know that they were both in college. So JC allowed them to have their life when they got their freedom, and she didn't want her past to jeopardize them in any way. So she kind of kept herself secret and hidden in the back. But from what I understand, she's gone on to open up a facility for mentally traumatized people and animals. And she puts the two of them together. So they help each other. And it's really interesting to see that the hope comes from JC, because if she went through what she went through and has accomplished what she's accomplished to this date, we all have hope. And my hope is that somebody will read that book and decide not to commit suicide. Yeah. That's my hope, because these people could have. Mark could have. He could have said, she was my best friend. I mean, I did everything with her. She was so important in his life. But I never even heard him say, I want to take my own life. And Philip Garrido never said, I want to take my own life. He never thought he did anything wrong. And so that's my hope, is that people will see the victim and see the victimizer and ask, am I the victim or am I the victimizer? Because if you're not there for the people that love you and you're running around complaining, they don't hear me, they don't listen to me, they don't do what I want to do, it comes down to that freedom of speech. You can say anything you want as long as it's my opinion and you agree with me. That's not freedom of speech. That's running of the mouth. And I heard the other day, there is no logic in stupidity. That is so true. Stupidity does not have logic associated. So if you're stuck on stupid, then you're not making sense. And you don't need to. Nobody wants to hear it.
No, they don't. They don't. I wanted to ask you, like, in your book, you approach like sensitive and graphic content in a different way. Like, you leave it to the imagination. Why did you do that?
Because I want everybody to read the book, of all ages, races, creeds, colors. Everybody's gone through trauma. This is probably the worst time for people all over the world. I mean, weather-wise, they're losing family members and homes and everything to floods, fires. People are alone. They have to start over. People that had jobs, their buildings are gone, so now they don't have an income. I just have to say that we're all in this together. So I don't want to put something in there that makes you go to bed at night and now you can't sleep. Oh, that story was terrible. I just can't. I don't want that. And I didn't write any stories about dogs, so anybody that loves animals doesn't have to worry. There is no trauma in there. And that's where people face a lot of trauma when they lose their pets, because their pets were their soulmates and they just make their world. And when they pass away, unless you're an animal lover, you don't understand that pain. But I didn't want to put it in the book. They can find other people's pain and kind of, would I have done that? Or would I say, she did that all wrong? Make up your own story in your own head and see if you're helping yourself or hurting yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And yeah, I'm that kind of person that if I see a scary movie, it doesn't matter whether it's noon, 5 o'clock, or midnight, or 2 in the morning. I have to watch something different.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have that nightmare, and that's just not good.
I've been asked by people, if I read your book, will I be really sad? And I said, no, the book isn't written for you to be sad. It's written to be educational and to let you know you're not alone.
Hmm.
Some people have never told anybody what they're going through. Other people have told everybody that will listen, and it doesn't do any good. They
Yeah.
don't get anywhere with these people. So that traumatizes your trauma.
Yeah.
So this book it's got a beginning, a middle, and the story ends, but their lives go on. And so I want people to see that everybody's going through something. You're not alone.
Hmm.
That's the biggest thing. And you've got to find somebody. If you can't find somebody to listen to you, find a stranger. You know what I've always noticed, and you'll probably agree with this. You can talk to your husband and you can talk to him for an hour and he still doesn't get what you're saying. Yet you can stand in the grocery store line, talk to the lady next to you. She's got you. She understands it completely. Oh, I know. And here you're going, my husband doesn't get it at all.
I
So,
stopped doing that a long time ago. It just doesn't work. It's just a
no,
waste of my time. It really
yeah.
is.
So we definitely think different. I started really watching my husband and noticing he can really talk about cars, motorcycles, and the things that he does in his line of work. But they never talk about anything else. They don't sit down and
I
talk
was
about
the
the
only
family
one.
dog or the kids.
Wait a minute. I thought I was the only one going through this. Okay. I thought I was like,
Oh,
okay,
heavens, no. There's a
oh,
bunch of women going, oh, no, no, no. And women will confide in women. When you say, how are you feeling? Do you still have a migraine? And you say, yeah, but it's not as bad. You ask a man and he's fine. I don't care if his arm's falling off. He's fine. They don't have communication all the time. And I think a lot of people that are in counselors in therapy, I think you men really need to listen to your wives, especially if you're dealing with women, because there is an understanding. And it's like the book. It doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your color, it doesn't matter your religious beliefs. Yeah, it's a different communication. And then you'll get the words out of their mouths, but it's always or it's never. And you go, wait a minute, you can't use that word. Always and never, can't use those. Those words start arguments. So I want this book to,
I always use it and I never stop.
I just want this to be an open for everybody,
I got
to
you.
have
I got you. I was playing
opportunity.
around. I was
Yeah,
playing
I know.
around.
I
I
know.
was playing around. I was just playing around. But yeah.
I know. I know. But you
Wow.
relate. See, you
I
relate.
do. I do relate. And that, wow. I thought I was the only one. I mean, I'm still stuck on that. I'm still stuck on not being the only one. But I can
No,
talk,
you're not.
yeah, girlfriend, the man can talk about what he loves for hours. And I'm just standing there like, will you ever listen to what I got to
Yeah.
say?
And especially when it's important and you go to tell him and he brings up another subject. You're going, wait a minute, I wasn't through with my subject
Thank
yet.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, and did you get you didn't tell me that, but you
Yeah.
did? Okay, okay. I'm good now.
Yeah. You should have told me. I did.
Oh,
Oh.
I did. I did. In detail.
Yeah.
In detail.
Yeah.
And you never listen.
No.
And I'm always saying this.
They have selective hearing because they can't hear certain things, and then other things you can whisper and they can hear.
Oh
So
my
they do
God.
have selective hearing. And
Yeah,
I know people are going, hey, my daughter's like that, or my wife is like that. I'm not trying to, categorize people. I'm
yeah,
just saying most women will relate that another woman understands them. And the man is just, are we going to talk about that again? Well, we never finished it to begin with.
I know. Wow. Wow. Okay, let's get back to well, this is trauma. I think that this is surviving trauma. I mean, if you're in a marriage and this is happening to you, regardless of whether it's the wife or the husband, the vice versa, it doesn't matter. You are surviving trauma, in my book.
Yes.
In my book,
Yes.
you are surviving trauma.
If you're a parent, if you have a teenager, yes.
Teenagers, I mean, is this hollow?
They get to a certain point where they think they know everything. I grew up thinking I don't have all the answers because I don't even know all the questions. So,
Yeah.
you can't, you want to be, I should say, my niece recently said, I always wanted to grow up. And my grandson said, I always wanted to grow up. It's expensive to be an adult. I
It
don't
is.
like it. I
I
want to
know.
go back to
I
being
didn't
a
want to grow
kid.
up. I think I was the opposite. I just wanted to stay a kid. I wasn't looking forward to growing up because my mom already taught me what grown-ups do, and I was not looking forward to that at all.
You're ahead of the game. That's good.
I was not looking forward to that at all. My mom was an entrepreneur. I was not looking forward to that at all. And she had me, arrange when I turned about 8 years old. She said, "Okay, let's sit down with the bills." And that was the first day I knew I did not want to be
Oh,
an adult.
that's
I
awesome.
did not want to be an adult. She sat down with me at 8 years old with the bills.
I wish
And
my
I said,
parents would have done that.
"You're kidding me. You're kidding me." I says, "Mom, how do we eat?"
If you can at least understand there's a paperwork world that you're going to grow up into, I
Yeah,
think it's not such a shock when you're learning it on your own.
exactly.
You
Exactly.
know,
So I understood it from a very young age what adulting was, and I tried not to do it for as long as I possibly could.
well, you're doing it, but you're doing it in a way that you're balancing.
Yeah,
You're doing things that are, I know dealing with the public at any time, it's hard.
it is.
But, with what you're putting your schedule together, you're finding a way to bring happiness into, even if it's an unhappy moment or it isn't, which I think is a gift because I still don't understand how people can go out and sing or tell jokes or do anything day after day and they're hurting inside so bad. And
Yeah.
the public doesn't know what you're going through. And
Mhm.
and I've watched people, be chased to get their autograph. And the reason they don't want to give you the autograph is basically it's overwhelming for them.
It's
Yeah.
scary. It's
Yeah.
scary.
You don't
You're
know who the people are, and everybody is. And I've watched that in when Mark Class and I were doing public speaking.
Mhm.
I just watched. One day I was standing at a door and I was handing out the pamphlets that told what the speaking was going to be about. And the people were so rude to me, and they would either push it away on my hand or they'd say, I don't need it. But after I did the public speaking that night with Mark, people were coming up and wanting to talk to me. And I said, wait a minute, I'm the
Mhm.
same person I was at that door that I am right now.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
you
I
can't
get it.
judge people like that. I don't like that.
I know. I deal with it a lot because I'm a singer and I go out and I sing
Right.
and I stand out in the lobby and I watch people go in and I greet them and they're all like, "Yeah, we're here for the show." I'm like, "Oh, me too." And they're like, the moment they
She's a
see me,
great She's
yeah.
a great singer. I'd love to meet her.
Yeah,
Standing
yeah,
right
like,
there.
oh my gosh, that is so cool. Really?
Really. Hopefully she'll meet you in the lobby.
And then when I get on stage and I start singing, you're like, that was her. Oh my gosh, no, she didn't do that to me. Yes, I did do that to you.
Yes, I did.
Yes, I
And
did.
I did it on purpose.
I did it on purpose to see who you are, to see
Hmm.
where your mind is, to see if you're going to treat me any different after the fact.
And
Um,
that's a part of trauma.
it
That's a
is.
part of it. You're meeting people on a phony basis.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really being themselves, and they're not giving you a chance to be yourself. T- we were in the grocery store one day, and my kids were all excited. I did not know the basketball player in there. He was very famous, and I didn't know him, but
Mm-hmm.
I did. They said, "Go talk to him." So I went up to him and I said, you have a daughter? And he said, yes. And I go, she's got to be the only one that can make you wear a Hello Kitty backpack. And he goes, oh, you got that right. But afterwards, he came up and thanked me for that, for not asking for an autograph. I
Yeah,
didn't have the heart to tell him, I don't even know who you are. But
it is
apparently you're
what it is.
famous. But
Yeah,
he's a big, big man wearing a little Hello. I mean, his arms are out like this. He's got the Hello Kitty on. So that's, you can see how people can change people's lives. That happened to be his daughter. It could be
yeah,
your granddaughter, your cousin. It could be that favorite aunt or your grandmother. If
exactly.
you're having problems in the household with your parents, don't give up on your parents, because they're still growing too. Every day that you grow a day older, so do they.
Yeah,
And there wasn't a handbook that came with you when you were born. And
I
had
wish
there
it was.
been,
They
well,
give they
then you
give
give
you
the kid
humans,
away.
like you are trusted with humans to raise them
Yeah.
without a book. That is,
Yeah, without a
you're
book,
right.
no 1-800 number to call if it doesn't
No,
work right. No.
no, no,
No.
no.
So, and
Wow.
we all go through that with families. And I've been thinking a lot about our family. My immediate family is just turned 49 people. We had 48 up until day before yesterday. And everybody is different. And the ones that have married people completely different than what our family was like.
Hmm.
And there has to be tolerance and acceptability on both parts. And I'm learning, not within my family, but people that I've spoke with and asked about. I've got one friend right now that's going through a divorce, and she doesn't understand, but her husband's had another life for about 5 years. They have two
Ooh.
children from that. And her trauma is he's got two kids. We've got two kids together. Am I supposed to have my kids know his kids or their kids? Or, I don't have answers for that because I
Yeah,
haven't gone through that. So I
I
don't try
have.
to answer them.
I was the other kid.
Oh,
I
see
was
how
the
it
other kid.
affects the subject affects everybody.
And
There's something.
I searched out my siblings because I really would have loved to grow up with them, even though I only grew up with two of my other siblings, and my mom only had me. So um, I really wanted to search them out because I felt like even though my dad was doing what he did, um, it wasn't our fault. But
No.
we should have that relationship because we are related and we're the only people that's going to have each other's backs. And yeah, we've become very close. And I wouldn't give that up for the world. Like that, those are my brothers and sisters. I don't really call them half brothers and
Yeah,
sisters.
I don't like that
They're my,
either. And the
yeah,
reason I
yeah.
don't like it, I was adopted at birth. I was raised Portuguese and an only child. When I found my birth family, I'm no longer Portuguese and I'm one of 11, the only one given up for adoption.
Oh,
So I went into an amazing household, but I didn't really realize how amazing it was until my sister, who's 4 years older than me, and we didn't grow up together, but the similar situations we had were uncanny.
mm,
And I learned so much listening to her. She's had a lot of trauma in her life, and I'm seeing why she talks about it, and I'm seeing she's trying to get healed. But I think she's actually on the path of getting healed because she's able to talk. I wasn't there, so I don't have any opinions. And she's never had anybody where you can just talk and, have them understand what you're saying. And I think the only reason I really understand her is because she is my sister.
yeah,
And I never had that. The only family I had were my kids and, the lineage on down.
yeah,
But uh, I don't know what our relationship would have been like. Like you said, it would have been nice. I
yeah.
know
But
my brother,
it's
my
hard.
brothers, yeah, and everybody's going through health issues,
Yeah,
and then you find out from your birth family they got things you don't want, like cancers and different things like that, but you don't know
yeah,
until you find your family.
yeah, yeah,
Then you're
yeah.
going, well, I don't want that.
Psychologically though, it's got to be hard for your friend because thinking about it, she thought that he really truly was with her when he was with her and someone else, had the kids at around the same age. It's hard to hook up with another woman who's is she still in love with my husband? Did she even know? I mean, there's going to be some animosity there, and
Oh,
you have
definitely.
to kind
Yes.
of get over that a little bit.
He was pretty clever. He told her that he volunteered for the army, for I know they don't go full-fledged army, but I know that they go through a boot camp and stuff. Well, he never was in the army. She didn't know that, but he used that. He had to go away for training. He had to go away for this or that.
Oh my
So he
God.
was pretty clever because who's going to think of that? He did. And then
Well,
when he was with her, he used that same excuse with his other.
no.
Yeah, I got to go away. And Christmas, he hated being away from home at Christmas. So when he was at home for Christmas, he said, "I'm so happy to be here." Well, he wasn't with the other family; he was with this family.
Uh,
And so I will keep that in mind if I write a second book, and just to see how she goes through this.
yeah, I mean, I it's got to be hard, but the kids don't have anything really truly to do with it, and my mom never kept me from my dad.
Oh, that's
Just
good.
never. I think that the other mother of the other kids was really mad at my father, and so we weren't really introduced to each other. But my mom always tried to keep that line open between my brothers, my sisters, my father, and his family, and she did the best she could. Um,
Seems like she did. And that's so positive on her part to
yeah,
allow that. And, regardless of how she felt, she was concerned about your well-being.
yeah,
You,
and she said
her
that.
own child, she wants the best for you. And
Yeah,
she showed, she showed she really had a deep love for you. That's what we're looking for in this book. Who loves you? Who can you talk to? If they're not there, then go find other people. There's plenty of people. Go talk to the homeless. Talk to the people that help the homeless.
yeah,
Help talk to the people that when Mark and I were doing public speaking, we heard some of the most horrific stories. We Because of who he was, we always had murder victim families in our audience, and we heard
Mhm.
some stories that were just heartbreaking, and some I can't even repeat. They were so bad,
Wow.
and you just those are people you need to talk to and say you're still here. You
Mhm.
know, you're your life is still going, and for the traumas that they went through, I didn't want to understand. The whole thing is you don't want to understand the other people, you want to help them. There's people that get involved with prisoners because they want to understand why they became prisoners. No, you don't want to understand that. You want to understand how you can help them if they get out, not to go and do the things that they did to get them in there in the first place. You need
Yeah.
to be hope. You don't need to be their friend and tell them, well, that wasn't fair for them to do that to you. That doesn't heal anything, you
Mm.
know, because the person's not going to share the parts of the hurt they don't want you to
Yeah.
hear. So be there. There's people out there, that will be there for you. And maybe they won't counsel you. Maybe they'll just give you a friendship you're looking for. But if you don't go look for it, you're not going to find it because they don't come knocking on your door going, "Do you need a friend?" Doesn't
No,
happen.
they don't. They really don't. Wow. Well, Janice, thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it so very much. And the website is Janice Gomes, and we're going to go ahead and put that link in the description box so that you can get it. But it's janicegomes.com. You can go there and check out the website. I mean, I've been putting it up ever since we started, this interview. You can read about the author. You can see the book. You can also click on either paperback or hardcover to get it. You can get in touch right there. You can begin your journey and anything else you need to do. And this interview is courtesy of Authors Tranquility Press. I mean, listen, I am so very excited and so happy that you came on the show today. Getting over trauma is like not easy, but if you allow yourself to understand that the trauma itself can kill you, the grief can kill you, it can shorten your life, create all kinds of different health issues. Getting over the trauma would behoove you to get over the trauma. Just get over it.
Yeah,
Definitely.
here's a way that might help you do that.
Yeah, definitely. And this might be the book that will help you do that. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Thank you, Miss Gomes, for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It was just a pleasure to meet you. I love your personality. I've got to hear your singing.
Uh-uh. Well, at that note, we're going to get off the air.
Okay.
We want to thank you guys so very much for being here, and go ahead and go to that link and click on it and see if this is a book that you may need to help you get over the trauma that you've has occurred in your life. But also, if your husband isn't listening to you like our husbands aren't listening to us, there is nothing that we can do for you, darling, except for saying we're praying for you and you are not alone.
Yes, you are not alone.
You're not alone in this, okay? I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. Until next time, guys. Bye. Thank you for watching.